Hey everyone, welcome to part 114 of my Pokemon game series in Unity. So in this video, we'll implement forgetting moves from battle with our new state stack architecture, and we'll also refactor the evolution state to use the state stack architecture. So with these two things done, the refactor of our battle system will be complete. So after that, we'll also go ahead and clean up the code of our battle system by removing the old unwanted code. So let's look at how to do all this. By the way, I started a new series on Patreon that covers how to make a 3D Pokemon game like Pokemon Legends Arceus in Unity. So if you're interested in making a 3D Pokemon game or a 3D RPG game in general, then you can check out this course on Patreon. So by becoming a Patreon, you can support this channel and get access to the 3D Pokemon series and get some other cool rewards like the complete project files of the series, some exclusive tutorials, and access to the Discord community. So before we start, I want to say a huge thanks to all the Patreons who are currently supporting the channel. You guys make the series possible, and I'm grateful to each and every one of you. So let's start the video. So first, let's implement the move to forget selection when we level up the player Pokemon from battle. So we have already implemented the move to forget selection state when we are learning a move by using a TM item. So we have a class called move to forget selection, move to forget state. Alright, this is the state we're using when we want to select a move for forgetting. Okay, so we can reuse the same state from battle also. So let's go ahead and implement that. So let me just uncomment all of these lines. Alright, so first we have to show these two dialogues, and then we can also show another dialogue that says choose a move to forget. Alright, and then we have to show the move to forget selection UI, right? So previously we were doing this by calling this function, but now we can just go ahead and push the move to forget state, and that'll handle everything for us. So we have already done that while learning a move with an item. So if you look at the references from here, when we use a TM item, we are pushing the move to forget state like this. Okay, so we can do the same thing when we learn a move from the battle. So let me just copy this and paste it here. Alright, and here we have to change a few things. So first, when we get the moves, we have to get it from the player's Pokemon, right? So let me change this Pokemon variable to player unit.pokemon, and we also have an error here. That's because the link namespace is not imported. So let me go ahead and import that. So next, instead of getting the move from TM item, we have it over here, right? So let me just use that. But this new move is a learnable move class. So to get the move base from it, we have to call dot base property. Alright. And finally, we have an error here because we don't have access to the game controller from here. This is a battle state, not a state of game controller. So we'll have to access the game controller using its singleton instance. Alright. So this will push the move to forget state and let the user select a move for forgetting. Okay. So we don't need these three lines anymore. So let me remove those. And next, once the player selects a move for forgetting, we have to go ahead and forget that move and then show a dialog, right? So again, we can reference how we did this while forgetting a move when using a TM item. So yeah, this is how we did. So we can copy this into the runtime state. All right. But in this case, there are a few differences. In battle, we show dialog using dialog box.type dialog, right? The dialog box we use for battle and our world is different. So let me go ahead and change those over here. So instead of using the show dialog text function, I'll use dialog box.type dialog. All right, let me also change it over here. Okay, and next we can change tm item dot move to new move that we have over here. So let me go ahead and change those. All right. And finally, we can change the Pokemon variable over here to player unit dot Pokemon. So let me also do that. All right. And now all the issues are fixed. So this should handle the move to forget selection for us when we learn a new move from the battle. Okay. So we could have placed some of these code in the move to forget state and reuse them instead of repeating it from both places. But the problem is, since the battle and the overworld use different dialog boxes, we won't be able to do that. So using the same dialog box for battle and overworld would be better, but that would be a huge change to make since we are showing dialogue in lots of places. So I'm not going to worry about that since it's not a big issue. In my 3D Pokemon series, I've improved this and I've used the same dialogue for both battle and overworld. But yeah, this is not a big issue. We'll have a little bit of extra code here and there. So I don't think it's worth the effort of changing. All right. So let's go ahead and test forgetting moves from battle and see if it works. So I'll go to Unity and I have a Charmander at level 14. All right. So just for testing, what I'll do is I'll add a new move at level 15 and let me make it something like quick attack. So when the Charmander grows to level 15, he'll learn this move and we'll have to forget a move to continue. Okay. So let me go ahead and test this. All right. So let me just beat the Pikachu and I should be able to level up because I increased the XP yield of Pikachu. So I got 600 XP and I was able to level up. Okay, and now I'm asked to forget a move to learn quick attack. So let's say I want to forget Growl and learn quick attack. And you can see that it worked. We can also try starting another battle and see if a move was changed. So yeah, the move was changed. So forgetting moves is working fine from the battle. Alright, so next let's refactor the evolution state and make it work by using the state stack architecture. So let me go ahead and open the evolution manager. Alright, so right now it works by using two events that will be fired when we start and complete the evolution. And then based on these two events, we'll set the state from the game controller. Okay, so this is how it's working right now. So we need to change it to use the state stack architecture. So that's going to be pretty simple. Evolution Manager is just a small class with a single function that will make a Pokemon evolve. So what I'll do is I'll actually make the Evolution Manager a state of game controller instead of a mono behavior script. All right. And if we want, we can rename it to evolution state, just so that we are sticking with the conventions. All right. And by the way, let me go to scripts and move this to the game states folder, just so that we can easily find it along with the other states. So right now it's inside the gameplay folder. So let me just copy it to the game states. All right. I'll just open it again in Visual Studio. And now, since we're using a state stack architecture, we don't need these two events. We'll be pushing the state from here itself. All right, let me just remove the code for invoking the events. And from here, when the evolve function is called, we can go ahead and push the evolution state to the state machine. Okay. And by the way, you could also do this by pushing it directly to the state machine instead of calling this function. But since we already have this nice little function over here, we can go ahead and call that and push the state from inside here. Okay. So from here, we have to push the state to the state machine of game controller. All right. So I'll just call the push function, and for the state to push, we can just pass the this keyword. Okay. And we also have to pop it once we're done with the evolution. So let me just store the game controller into a variable called gc, just to make the code short. So now we can simply call gc.statemachine.push. All right. And once we're done with the evolution, we can call gc.statemachine.pop to pop the evolution state. All right. So now it uses the state stack architecture. So if you go to the game controller, we don't have to listen to these events anymore since we're using the state stack. And by the way, in the on complete event, we are doing few extra things like calling set party data to reflect the change in the party screen, and then changing the music back to the scene music. So since we have removed this event, we'll have to do this when we complete the evolution from the evolve function. Okay, so let me just move these two lines into the evolve function. So from here, we don't have access to the party screen. So party screen is a private variable in the game controller. So let me just use a property to expose it. All right. And now from here, we can just call game controller dot party screen and then set the party data. All right. And next, we also have to execute this line for changing the music back to the scene music. So we can also do that from here. And by the way, to get the current scene, we have to access it from the game controller. All right. So this is all you have to do for the evolution. So now we can also remove the on complete evolution event. Okay. So the evolution uses state stack architecture now. So let's go to Unity and test this. So since we renamed the evolution manager script, we'll have to attach it again. So if I look at the game controller, there is a script missing. So let me just go ahead and remove that. And I'll add the evolution state again. Okay. So from here, we have to reassign everything. So let me go ahead and do that. And we also have to assign the evolution audio. All right. So now we need to test the evolution. So if you look at the data of Charmander, the Charmander will evolve at level 16. So what I'll do is I'll change the level of my Charmander to 15 so that we can easily test this. Alright. So let me go ahead and start a battle real quick. And now if I beat this Pikachu, my Charmander should evolve. Alright. So you can see that the evolution is working fine with the state stack architecture. Okay. And by the way, you should also be able to make the Charmander evolve by using a Firestone. So let me try that on the other Charmander that I have. Alright, so that is working fine. So now we have refactored everything related to the battle. So now if you look at the battle system script, we still have a lot of old functions that we don't need anymore. I didn't remove most of the old code because I thought we might want to reference it while refactoring the other states. But now since we have completed refactoring all the battle state, we don't need them anymore. So we can go ahead and remove all the unwanted code. So first I'll clean up the handle update. So in the handle update, we don't need all this code. All you have to do is call stateMachine.execute and it'll execute the logic of different states accordingly. So we can remove all this code. Alright. So the handle update looks pretty clean now. So next we can remove all these functions like handle, action selection, handle, move selection and all that. Alright. We can also remove the handle party selection and handle about to use functions. Okay. And here we need the switch Pokemon function because we are using it from states like about to use and run turns. Alright, we also need the send next trainer Pokemon function because we are using it. But we can remove these lines of code for setting the enum states. We are not using the enum states anymore. Alright, and next we can go ahead and remove the on item used function. Alright, we need the throw Pokeball and try to catch Pokemon functions. And next we can remove the choose move to forget and about to use functions. So all these functions are used for starting a state. We don't need that anymore. Now we have a dedicated enter function in all our states for handling things that should happen when the state starts. Right. So here you can see that all these functions have 0 references. So I'll just select all of them and remove it. Alright. So yeah, we have removed all the unused functions. And we can also remove the unused variables from here. So the move to learn is not needed in the battle system anymore. That will be handled from the move to forget state. And similarly, we can also remove these 4 variables. Alright. And now we can also delete the battle state enum. It has a reference. So let me check from where we're using it. So yeah, we can just remove it from here. We don't need it. And now it should have 0 references. And we can go ahead and remove it. Okay. So yeah, we have removed all the unwanted code from the battle system. And now the battle system is a really short class with just 266 lines of code. And all the different states of battles are handled from different classes, right? So I'm pretty happy that we completed the refactor of battle system. This was the hardest thing to refactor. It had lots of different states and dependencies with other states. So yeah, I'm really glad we are done with this. So now the only thing that's left to refactor is the shop. All right. And after that, our game will be completely using state stack architecture and generic selector for all the systems. All right. So I'll be refactoring the shop controller in the next video. So I'll stop the video here. If you think this video is helpful, please leave a like and consider subscribing to my channel. You can also support the series on Patreon if you can afford it. So, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.